Welcome to the APTA Grand Prix Series. This is the Western New England, sponsored by the APTA national sponsors Viking, Fusion, Upswing Health, and My Paddle, and local sponsors Goodroot, McKenna, and Caban Family Orthodontics, Everest Vodka, and Collins Electric. We are live from the Longmeadow Field Club on the APTA network presented by ProFlight Live. I'm Lauren Mandel, along with Mark Fischel, and we are bringing you a men's quarterfinal match between Martin Bostrom and Drew Broderick and Juan Araya and Mark Parsons. Mark, what do you think?
Well, good morning, Lauren. First of all, it's a rematch of a terrific match we saw in Long Island between these two teams. And normally this is the point in the match where we introduce the players, but we only have two of them on the court. So that's Araya at the bottom of the screen and Parsons at the top. Why don't we take a fast look at the Grand Prix schedule for this year? So we started the season in Darien. And, again, I want to remind everybody this was all under COVID-19 protocols. And, all sorts of kudos to the APTA, Tiernan Kavan, Amin Kadari, Ann Sheedy, Nindy Pike, Isabel Caban, Jackie Cameron, Annie Waldron, Jerry Viant for all the hard work presenting these tournaments in these trying times in a healthy and safe manner for our players. So we started the year at Darien. And then we went out to Indianapolis. And the way the schedule has been, instead of the normal 5 Grand Prix this year, Lauren, we went to 8, 4 in the East Coast and 4 in the Midwest. Although the Hinsdale event is going to be split into the women are going to play in Hinsdale and the men are going to play in Detroit. Mm-hmm. So we'll be streaming the guys in Detroit, and we're also going to be streaming a new pop-up tournament that's going to be run in Long Island on February 13th. It'll be a women's event. And then hopefully it all culminates with the Nationals in Boston, although I'm not sure where that it is right now. Why don't we take a fast look at the draw, too, to see how these teams got through, as we see Martin Bostrom is now on the court. And I think that's Drew Broderick on the side getting ready. Drew is notorious for his tardiness.
There he comes. No.
Yep, there he is.
Yep, there he is.
Okay, so we're going to get the draw up and see how these teams got here. And this is just an absolutely loaded draw, Lauren, I would say, with the exception of Travinsky, McNerney, and the Rose brothers. You have 6 of the top 8 teams in the country. I mean, Brian Compton as well. And then obviously Kaler and Rams, who won Midwesterns last weekend. I think they jumped ahead of Leclerc and Protsenko for the 6th spot in the rankings. Kaler's now up there a couple of times.
These small draws are killer.
And it seems like it's the same matches each week. This is Drew Broderick, the lefty, in the bottom left corner. He's at the Canubra Club in New Jersey. And then Martin Bostrom is the right-hander. Martin's down at Plainfield. Juan Araya, Greenwich Country Club, and Mark Parsons, Aspetuck Valley. So let's take a look at the draw.
No surprises so far.
Yep, everybody went through. No 3-setters in the first round. Everything relatively routine. Although Lou Balmorneau.
These are going to be some gangbuster quarterfinal matches.
Yeah, this is almost like quarters of nationals. I mean, with the exception of Humphreys Lefevre and Court Grangero. Plug in a couple of Chicago teams, and that's what you'd have. So when these teams played in Long Island, Lauren, it came down to a third set tiebreaker, won by Bostrom and Broderick. And it's just, when the draw comes out, the team you don't want to see in your draw is Bostrom and Broderick.
Right. So for all the people who have been used to seeing Broderick play for years with Jared Palmer, what does Martin Bostrom bring to the table?
Well, Martin brings a lot of offense from the middle of the court with that backhand of his. It's just a tremendous weapon. He drives the ball off of both wings. I think the backhand is a little bit harder to read, a little bit heavier. And Martin has long been one of the most talented players in the country. His challenge has been getting rid of the odd misses, the lob wide at a big moment in time. And that's something he's worked really hard at. And that's really vaulted him into the top echelon of the game. I mean, I think that, Bostrom Broderick, I don't know they're playing nationals together. I think at this point, Bostrom is still playing with Blake Anderson, who's been off injured. And Broderick is probably hoping for Jared Palmer. But I think if this team played together, they could win nationals. I think they're that good, and Bostrom has really made that leap in his game in terms of his mental toughness. With Long Island, they followed up the win over these guys by beating Durant Mitchell.
Yeah, and then they lost in the finals to uh
Hughes
no,
Powers.
Hughes Powers, yeah.
Yeah, they were kind of out of mental energy, it seemed like, in the finals. Not to take anything away from Hughes Powers, who played very well. It just didn't seem like Bostrom Broderick had much left when they got to the final.
Do you think that what do you think that Parsons and Araya have to do to turn the tables today and win this match?
That match at Long Island was 7-all in the third set tiebreak. So it was obviously separated by next to nothing.
Yeah.
They started the match out playing Bostrom, and they finished the match out playing Broderick. So I look for them to go to Broderick a little bit more today. The weather is much colder than it was on Long Island. I think it's going to be more advantageous for the net team, the weather being colder, harder to drive the ball off the wires. Uh, so I look for more of the same, but just better quality. I mean, this is the time of year when these teams really start getting going and they're playing a lot of paddle.
Yeah. I think
So
they're
we
probably
think
going to
that's
get
Mark Parsons, but it's kind of hard to tell looking at the picture because you can't see his face.
But he's only wearing a sweatshirt. He never wears anything heavier than a hoodie. But yeah, there's a lot going on. People wearing masks and there's a lot to contend with COVID regulations. But that being said, there's still a lot of great paddle being played and a lot of opportunities for these players, and it's exciting that we get to watch this.
Yeah, and it's terrific that our sport is a relatively safe one in these dangerous COVID times.
I mean, I know that at the clubs in my area, paddle is just booming because, how great that you can be outside and be relatively safe and have something fun and good for you to do. And it's just been an explosion. You can't get a court.
Yeah, and it's anecdotal. There's no scientific evidence behind it, but I've heard numerous stories of people being on the court with people who subsequently tested positive, but I've never heard anything about anybody catching COVID on the paddle court.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Maybe we should do a study, Mark.
There you go. Okay, so the players are taking their warm-up serves. And this is really an exciting match to see these four guys playing in the quarters.
It is. There's going to be a lot of exciting action, and it's going to be a probing game, right? As you said.
9 national championships between Araya, Parsons, and Broderick. Bostrom is the only member of the quartet that has not won one yet.
I'm sure he would like to join the club.
And he does have, I think, 3 mixed nationals and 3 husband wives.
Because he has a good partner.
He's got a really good partner in his wife, Flor Hanisch, who I'm sure
the
is
champion of the women's draw. Yeah.
home watching. Yeah, they played great yesterday. And we'll see them again at the Crest Hollow tournament in February.
Who's running that tournament, Mark?
Matt Garavaglia, with a little bit of assistance from myself. Very little.
Yeah, they've really been on a tear this season, Flor Hanisch and Anna Zabori.
They're such a perfect team. They know their roles. And Flor is just so great at being the support player and kind of floating behind Anna Maria, letting her do her thing. And Zabori's physical skills are just off the charts.
Yep. It's fun to watch. That first set was really something to watch. I mean, if you blinked, it was over because Zabori was just doing whatever she wanted to do up there at the net. And then, as it happens, the other team recovered and they figured out what to do, but the better team won yesterday.
And I want to remind all our viewers we have the other semifinal match being showed on YouTube as well. So you can watch Durant Mitchell, Lepaver Protsenko. But I don't know why you'd want to not listen to Lauren describe what's happening in this match. That's just kind of unfathomable to me.
True.
And you can see that match
All
has
right.
started on the upper left-hand corner of our screen. It's Durant Mitchell at the net. So like all matches with Drew Broderick, he's going to be controlling the tempo and the pace of the match and playing relatively slow. Araya Parsons want to play faster. But I think that the weather is definitely advantageous for the team at the net, and that'll make the net more valuable than ever.
Right, it looks like we're ready to get started with our scorekeeper, Larry Life, is going to call the score, but not call the lines.
Both teams discussing their strategy early on, and it looks like Bostrom Broderick will be taking us out. This is Martin Bostrom serving at the bottom of the screen, and he'll be serving to Juan Araya in the blue jacket. Here we go. This is as much as Araya Parsons talk in the course of a season. Bostrom serving sidearm to start against Araya. And Araya Parsons really like to blitz a lot, the sidearm serve. They were very effective last year in Philadelphia doing that when they beat Durant Mitchell a couple weeks before Nationals. Going Aussie against the big Parsons return and overhand. That was a swing and a miss from Bostrom.
30.
Well, at this rate, Lauren, they'll be done by noon. Parsons looks very sharp early, a couple of good solid returns. Great blitz from Broderick, catches Parsons in the shoulder.
30.
Not something you see a lot from Drew.
Oh, and that was a very low volley he had to contend with.
Fault from Bostrom brings us to
30,
break point,
40.
30-40. Oh, great ball from Araya.
Mark, do you think that, you know,
Game
with this trend
Arroyo
towards
Parsons.
to the sidearm serve, that most people will settle into, you know, having both serves and taking them out depending on who they're playing, you know?
Absolutely, Lauren. I think that's a great observation, and I do think that's going to happen. You see it here. For the right-handers, it's so hard to serve to the deuce court. There's just so little room to hit the ball, but they're very comfortable serving to the ad court with that hard spin serve into the pocket. Boy, a bunch of mistakes
15
early from
love.
Bostrom. But I think it's just going to be like in tennis, where you have a variety of serves, whether it's the kick serve or the spin serve, the flat serve, body serve. We talked a little bit in the last match, Lauren, about the impact the cold weather has. Just how much harder it is to drive the ball off the back wires because it just doesn't come out as far. All of which makes it a real advantage to be at the net. A lot of balls to Broderick early. There's that booming Bostrom backhand.
That's the way to win the point. I was wondering, how that point was someone was gonna gain an advantage, and that was it.
15-15. $15-30.
Some positive words from Parsons. Great serve from Araya. He's got one of the best serves in the country.
Yeah.
Just an absolute
30
fearless server.
And that's what you give up with the underhand serve. You don't get any points like that.
And there Araya's jumping in front of Parsons. This is the volley.
Add out.
Another service winner for Araya. 2 consecutive ones to Broderick.
That serve. Was that?
You'll see that once every 5 or 6 years, right, Laura?
Yes.
Araya Parsons switching at the net to get the Araya forehand in the middle.
Mark, we have an update on the other quarterfinal court. Durant and Mitchell are up 2-1 over Lepavere and Prosenko.
Yeah, that should be a terrific match, Lauren. Yeah, Broderick traveled a little far to get to that ball. And we should remind our viewers we're playing no ad in the second deuce. So if
Games are 1-1.
Foster Broderick win this point, they would be playing deciding point. Another big serve from Araya. Some huge cuts from Araya.
Yeah.
Okay, so deciding point here. Receiver's choice. And they're opting to go to Bostrom. Araya is such a beautiful volleyer.
So still.
Everything about his game is so pretty.
Yep.
Great slash overhead winner there. Takes him to 2-love. Some positive energy from Araya. Love to see that early. Drew Broderick to serve. Yeah, this has a completely different feel than the Long Island match. Again, a couple of misses from Bostrom early. Oh, that was a confident swing from Araya. Missed that one, but he tagged that ball.
Well, so far, he's played pretty flawlessly.
Oh. Swinging forehand volley from 2 feet behind the service line. $15-30. Seeing a lot of the points unfold with Bostrom Broderick in the backcourt. I just don't know that you can win in a cold day like this from the backcourt.
It's hard to see how. It's hard to see where they're going to string the points together from the baseline.
They are pounding the ball at Drew Broderick right now. Everything's in the middle of the court. Great volley from Parsons. It may not be as pretty as Araya's, but it's no less effective. Oh, what a shot from Araya.
Take a
replay of that after this game. 30 all. Parsons misses that roller.
Three two for Durant Mitchell now. Sorry, Mark.
Lots of times in matches, Lauren, we talk about one team needs to get off to a good start or the other team needs to do this. Both these teams are great competitors, and this match is over when they shake hands. I don't think it's imperative for either side to play well early. Very un-Broderick-like miss there.
30-40.
Point for 3 love. Oh, he's just cranking that serve.
The problem, that looks like to me, is that Araya and Parsons are doing whatever. Well, he missed that one, but they're just so
40
comfortable.
all.
They're doing whatever they want at the net. Eventually, they're winning the points.
First deuce. I don't know if I've ever seen Drew Broderick serve this hard, Lauren.
Add in.
Big forehand through ball from Parsons there. Okay, no ad again.
Deciding point.
Second one and 3 points.
Yep.
Going
It is
back,
exciting. It is
Yep.
exciting, this no-ad.
going back to Parsons. That's the receiver's choice. Great pickup from Araya. Parsons just locked in on return to serve right now. Same overhead that Araya won the first deciding point with. Wow, another really, almost a shocking miss there, Lauren. You just don't expect that from Drew Broderick in the big moments of the match.
And I know 2 of these games were won on deciding points, but it does feel very much like Araya and Parsons are the better team right now.
I agree completely, and that's just the nature of the game. The teams that win those big points, whether it's deciding point or add in or add out, that's who ends up winning matches, who plays those points well. And to date, Bostrom and Broderick have not played the big points well. You saw there a strange miss from Broderick, and the first deciding point, a bad lob, enabled Araya to put a lot of pressure on with the spin overhead.
And winning those deciding
Mark
points
Parsons
gives you
serving
such confidence.
2-1.
Okay, so Parsons to serve, 3 love, first set.
Correction,
Back
games
in there
are
from
3
Bostrom.
love.
Love 15. Oh, great volley from Araya. Broderick had that short backhand. Araya closes the net. He and Durant do it as well as anybody in the country. There you see Araya kind of loitering at the net, waiting to see if there's a ball that Parsons can drive. They love to play that way.
Another mistake.
We haven't seen too many of those from Martin Bostrom in the first 3+ games. And there's modern paddle, Lauren. Serve hard, stay back, hit a half volley, and come to net. Don't try that at home.
Well, it's a good lesson, though, right? If you don't want to contend with the first volley, there are other options.
Absolutely. Isn't that the key to our game?
Yep.
Another miss from Broderick. Yeah, Matt Carvalho, the pro at my club, he's always saying that I miss fewer first volleys than anybody in the country. That's because I never come to net behind my serve.
And there you solve that problem.
Yeah, I have nothing to do with my volleying, I promise. We got a rare point with Araya Parsons in the backcourt. I would say virtually 75 to 80% of the match has been played the other way. And they are just rolling right now.
Yeah.
Game
And look at the body
Parsons,
language. I mean,
Yeah, it's bad. Good move from Bostrom here to come up and talk to him. Who's that?
Love serving 4.
Here's back to live action. Miss
15
Mariah,
love.
his one-handed backhand is as good as there is in the country. There's so much versatility on it. It's in so many different ways. Wow, this is going fast. 15 all.
15 all.
Parsons is just locked in.
the other match, it's 4-3 for Durant Mitchell. We will keep you posted on that one.
Great forehand there from Parsons.
15-30.
I don't know what Araya's saying to him other than keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Hit another good return.
And he did.
Yeah, it worked.
Oh. Good thing there was a couple hundred miles between us and that forehand, Lauren. I was ready to bail. Hold from Bostrom.
Play it again. Clearly, sorry.
Looks like,
Thank you.
looked like Broderick saw it differently. They're going to replay the point. Great sportsmanship from Araya Parsons.
Help, help.
Yeah, their Parsons has got to bail.
Yeah, yeah. And he said it. And
Okay.
but it's been so rare that well, first of all, it's been so rare that Broderick and Bostrom have been able to get Parsons and Ryan in a comfortable position at the net.
I think Parsons has taken every return and hit it through Oscar Broderick and taken over the net. Assuming he hasn't won the point outright on his return. Araya beats Bostrom with the big spin overhead. First deuce.
40 all.
Great cut winner from Bostrom there.
Add in.
Okay, it's their first chance to win a game that it's not also the other team's chance.
That's a couple times Broderick has called Bostrom up a ball and they hadn't listened. A great blitz from Araya. Okay. Another no ad. We're going to take a look at that one after this game. Another no ad point.
Our
And
third
course,
one.
Yeah, of course, they're choosing Parsons to return it. And he hits the ball through and takes over the net. See Araya trying to create space, mixing up his overheads. Bostrom gets one ball out of 10, right? And he missed it.
Yep, yeah. That was the first one that, you know, Parsons hit kind of short, and he had a good swing at it, and nothing doing.
Yeah, right ball just failed to execute. And it's 5-love Araya Parsons.
Wow. Wow,
yeah,
Mark.
I think wow is an excellent description, Lauren. Didn't see this coming. Parsons is just absolutely locked in. Maybe he missed 2 balls in 5 games, I can remember. Okay, want Araya to serve. 5-love, first set.
Love.
You see Bostrom Broderick switching in the backcourt. They've had some success with this in the past. Great roller there, catches the nick from Bostrom.
Love 15.
They switch in the backcourt again. Or that Bostrom forehand, that was just an explosion.
Great backhand, too. I mean, it's a good idea, right? I mean, they might as well switch things up now.
Yep.
See if they can find some way to penetrate this other team that's playing so well.
I think this is the format that Bostrom would prefer.
15-15.
And that's a serve that would be much harder to get away with in the warm weather, because the ball would come out further, but because it's so cold out, it just kind of sticks on the
30.
wires. That's why you see so many of the players serving so much harder today.
Yeah, they're all serving much harder than, I mean, Parsons often uses that very soft serve just so that doesn't happen. But like you said, in cold weather, it takes that element away.
Oh, great overhead, great get.
What a get, he almost hit him. He still got it back.
Boy, look at Araya loading with his legs there. They generate all that spin.
Yep. The legs and the shoulder turn.
All right, great drop shot from Araya. Read that little soft drive from Broderick.
30-30.
I mean, when Araya and Parsons are up there and Araya's hitting all of those overheads, it just feels like a matter of time before they're going to win the point.
That's a great volley. Great read from Bostrom on the nick there. Called for his partner to help him.
The other match remains tight. It's 5-4 for Durant Mitchell.
Boy, they're just sorry, Lauren. They're just challenging that Broderick backhand. That takes us to set point. Didn't see the switch that point from Bostrom Broderick in the back court. See if we see it here. What'd you say, Lauren? 75–80% of the balls being directed at the Broderick backhand?
Yeah.
And by choice, maybe a higher percentage. They're just a wall at the net right now. There you see Araya. He hit that hard overhead and he raced to the net. Oh, Parsons misses that one off the Bostrom backhand.
That's what's gonna. That's what it's taking. It's taking an error to win these points. I mean,
First deuce.
And they're just not giving very many errors, Araya Parsons, at all.
Played a couple of points with Bostrom in the backhand, and they seem to have gone away from it. Not looking to switch here.
I was just gonna say they haven't given Drew that shot, and then he did it. That is not the overhead you want to hit to Drew Broderick.
Unless you're Drew Broderick.
Yeah, right. It's a trap people often fall into, but obviously Araya and Parsons know his game so well, it's not going to happen.
Araya misses that ball. I played a match against Broderick with Michael Montalbano, and I said to Monty, Monty, if Drew is lying on the ground in a pool of blood, do not hit that ball over there.
Let me guess.
Next point, Monty, hit it over there. Okay, Bostrom Broderick on the board. Oh, great volley from Parsons. What a pickup from Broderick. Great try by Broderick as Parsons finds the nick.
He just kind of lobbed it in there. Knew exactly where it was going to hit.
Oh, that's just brilliant. Interesting to see if you see Bostrom Broderick kind of adjusting their service patterns, going to a little more I formation or staying back.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a bummer because then if they stay back, I mean, they need to be at the net. They're not winning the points from the baseline with any regularity.
Yeah, that's the challenge right now. Love 40, triple set point.
15-40.
2 set points saved.
540? Yeah. 540.
Okay, called long by Araya. That's game in first set. Araya Parsons, 6-1. Lauren, before we talk about the set, I want to thank one of our national sponsors, Viking. Sure, other companies make platform tennis balls. Viking makes the #1 ball in the game. Player's clear choice, the Viking ball. Extra duty advanced flocking process promotes proven longer wear and provides the perfect texture for maximum ball spin and control. High-end proprietary rubber compound allows for the softest feel and most consistent bounce. It's the official ball of the national championships, the official ball of the Grand Prix Series, and the official ball of the American Platform Tennis Association. So, Lauren, what are your thoughts on that first set? What do we need to see from Bostrom Broderick? Because as you accurately pointed out at the end of that set, they need the net. They're not getting it on serve. So what do?
Well, they got to find a way to get it, Mark. That's what they got to do, right? I mean, I don't see any path to victory through the back of the court as long as Araya and Parsons keep playing lights out. So I don't know. What do? They play but then I don't know the answer.
Well, right now there are no answers.
Yeah.
I think the best answer is they've got to start winning some points from the backcourt because they're losing the points when they're trying to serve and come in, and they just can't afford to do that. Araya's blitzing following Parsons' return has just been a deadly combination.
But as you pointed out, I liked when they switched in the back and Bostrom was in the ag court, and I don't know, maybe keep trying different scenarios until they find one that sparks something.
I was surprised they got away from that at the end of that game. They changed sides a couple of times early in the 5-love game, and then didn't look for it the last 3 or 4 points of the game. Won the game regardless.
In the other quarterfinal match we're following, Durant and Mitchell won the first set 6-4.
Okay, so Bostrom Broderick making their way back to the court.
And if you're Araya Parsons, you just have to keep trying to steamroll.
It's interesting because it looks like Parsons is going to start this set, and normally Araya starts. Maybe a sun issue.
Sun issue, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to maintain that level of play. But see if anybody can do it, it's Araya Parsons.
Yeah, we saw it in the women's final yesterday, right? I mean, how long did that first set, 6-0 first set take? 5 minutes?
Seemed that way.
And then the second set was a much different story.
And I think 6 minutes is literally almost how long it took, Lauren.
I wasn't exaggerating.
Not exaggerating.
I mean, maybe a little. But
8.5? Okay, Parsons to serve to Martin Bostrom, second set. And there we see the switch in the backcourt. Ryan misses that one long or wide. I think that last point, great serve from Parsons, but that last point to me, Lauren, was an indication of how much more effective they are on those sides because there isn't that soft dump available down the middle of the court.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a ball Parsons got a lob with Araya at the net. Although Araya's got to have some awareness of what's going on back there. That was a tough ball to drive. They switch in the backcourt. Lauren, I have a clarification from Carrie Delmonico. I can only read part of the text, but she said it was 14 minutes. She's correcting me.
Sorry, Carrie.
Great play from Araya.
No! That hit the line.
Called wide
Called
from
it out.
Broderick.
It's your call. 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 No, it's your call. I don't want to take the point. Listen. I don't want to take the point. Play it again. Play it again.
Okay, Broderick's insisting they play it again.
I don't want to take the point, Drew. If you're
Great
absolutely sure, I'll
sportsmanship.
give you the point. Yeah, seriously. 5 points.
And Araya's insisting otherwise.
Right. In case you're curious about what's going on, Juan will narrate it for us. Kindly.
Yeah. What a pickup from Parsons.
Come on.
They just keep challenging that Broderick backhand right now, and they're being successful. with
30-40.
it.
Which is so bizarre. I mean, it's such a rock-solid shot.
Okay.
You guys have a new ball?
Yeah, we already got it.
Here's that replay from earlier. Oh, not a replay. Here's the replay. Araya does such a great job opening up the court. And that was a tough drop shot from deep in the court. Great get from Broderick there. And that was going to be a great get from Bostrom there. Okay, so can they hold serve? That's what they have been unable to do so far in 4 tries. Okay, so it's in the I formation. Bostrom will be staying to the right. Broderick takes one practice serve with the new ball.
Love 15.
I formation again. It's actually the first time they've been able to take the net, serving to Parsons. There you see Araya calling that ball, which is literally at times almost 6-8 inches off his shoulder, because he knows when it hits the back wire.
Yeah.
Check all the way over. Oh. That's a little ambitious from Parsons there. 15 all.
It's so interesting. You can feel it, right? I mean, the first sec, everything can go your way, and
35.
then suddenly it's just not so easy anymore. It just happens that way.
Great return there from Parsons. Yeah, it's a big game right here. You kind of feel the match turning a little bit.
Or at least they'll have the opportunity to turn if Broderick and Bostrom can win this game. You have to stop the juggernaut.
Now Araya can go hit that waterfall overhead to Bostrom. He's very happy he has that shot back. Oh. Bostrom steps in and hits that backhand. Just smart overhead from Araya right at the body. With some great volleying from Parsons. Not very pretty, but boy, is it effective.
But he gets low, he stays low, he sets his paddle early. I mean, it may not be have the zazz that Araya does, whatever the right word is, but it's very, very technically sound.
Yes, I agree. Not as elegant as Araya.
Elegant, thank you. That's not a hard word that I couldn't pull out.
You were an English major too.
history.
Great shot from Araya. Yeah, those are the points you kind of feel like things are hanging in the balance in terms of which way the Mo's going.
Yep.
Now they got to go back to Parsons at 30-40. They survived the first one. Yeah, they survived it.
Get me. Me. You. Help, out here. You. Watch.
Great blitz from Araya. You saw that paddle up the whole way, anticipating it. Great athletic move. Takes us to 1-all. That was a big game for
I was thinking the same thing. I think that was a very big game. I feel like so often those early games in the second set are so important.
Bostrom looked a little late with his feet there to me, Lauren. Wasn't a bad ball, just wasn't really ready to hit it. Here they're going back to just dump into the Broderick backhand. And that's the pressure that Araya Parsons are putting him on him. You hear Bostrom talking about trying to make it so perfect every time. Lauren, I'm always reminded of the great Charles Barkley line. Good players have confidence when they're playing well. Great players have confidence when it's going poorly. And you're starting to see a little bit of the slippage in body language from Bostrom here.
I think that Broderick should be able to, I think Broderick's got confidence in spades, and I feel like he needs to kind of lift up his partner here right now.
A little difficult in that they're pounding the ball into Broderick. He's the one who's getting most of the balls.
Yeah, but they have to come together as a team here. I mean, it's not too late. It's still early.
Now, if Jerry Viant was doing this match, he would have criticized Broderick for not chasing the ball down for Bostrom. That Bostrom missed it, so Broderick should support his partner by going to get the ball.
40 love.
My attitude is you hit it, you get it.
And therein lies the difference between you and Jerry Viant.
She won and I lost. Just have a feeling that Bostrom Broderick just don't know what to do right now. Not looking for the switch here. Araya Parsons going right back to the spot. It's interesting, Lauren. One of the hardest things for tennis players to do on the paddle court is to do nothing. And just to hit a ball that's soft and has nothing on it and has no intent other than to be put in play. And I think a lot of tennis players struggle with that concept. It's just brilliant play from Araya. Short drop shot, then hits Broderick with the response.
Mark, going into this match, what do you think Broderick and Bostrom's game plan was?
I think they wanted to play patiently and slowly from the backcourt. And attack the short overheads when they had an opportunity.
And is there a plan B?
Right now, I'd have to say no. That's a great comment, Lauren. They just don't seem to have any answers right now. They've tried switching. I mean, plan B was switching in the backcourt. That has not been effective to date. And this is getting close to a must-hold for Bostrom. Great volley there. Oh, great ball from Araya. Boy, they're just asking a lot of questions right now.
And they're just having to come up with these amazing shots to stay in the point.
Yeah, they had two spectacular volleys. Just to get back to even. Had
He
it
missed
too.
one, but not by much.
Yeah, it was open. Caught Broderick moving to the center. Great point, great action.
15 love.
Some volley for Drew Broderick. There's Araya, very aggressive on a low ball off the back wire.
30 love.
All right, a little opening here.
Sorry.
Let cord off of Broderick's shoulder. That's about the only volleys Broderick misses. And some of those he makes too. The good news for Bostrom Broderick is they're starting to play more points at the net.
Yes. Whereas the first set, it felt like they were never there. They couldn't get there.
Broderick misses it wide. Again, just kind of looking for answers.
Okay, from 30 love to 30 all, and this what we think is maybe a must-win game for Broderick and Bostrom.
Right, they are just rolling. Another missed backhand drive from
30,
Broderick.
40.
Two missed overheads that game, and it's 3-1. Araya Parsons, and the freight train is rolling fast.
And on the other quarterfinal match, Durant and Mitchell, who won the first set, are up 3-2 in the second set against Lepaver and Protsenko.
We're not there yet, but it's looking like a matchup of two of our titans in the semifinals.
You.
Great positioning for Parsons. You saw him scoot over to his right, anticipating that drive from Bostrom, presenting his backhand volley. Love, second point. Oh, such creative play from Araya. Switch in the backcourt.
Bostrom got a good swing at one there, but no advantage.
Catches the seam, great drop shot. Boy, they are just in total control right now, Lauren.
Yeah.
They're playing a virtually flawless match.
Return.
35.
Both teams switching at the same ball, and Parsons catches the nick. And it's 40-15.
45.
Parsons catches the nicks. I've said that a couple times, haven't I, Lauren? Parsons stays back. Bostrom misses it.
Well, that's a frustrated swing, Mark.
Yep.
What? How many? Okay, so let's say of all the points, which has been most, that Araya and Parsons have been at the net, how many of them do you think they've lost on the only points they've lost have been on an error? I mean, that's the
Yeah.
only. That's the only. So it's sort of helpless when Broderick and Bostrom are at the baseline. They can't seem to do anything to affect what's happening on the other side of the court.
Broderick had one early blitz where he hit Parsons, but that's been about it. Oh. Now, Lauren, obviously these teams played in the last major tournaments. When the draw came out, what do you think their different reactions were? Do you think Bostrom Broderick thought, oh, let me beat those guys again? Or, oh, great volleying. Araya's just on fire. Who do you think was looking forward to the draw, and who do you think said, oh, I got to play those guys again? Or were both of them saying, oh, I'm so happy to play those guys again?
Well, I'm sure that Araya and Parsons were happy to get another crack at it.
15 all.
First missed return from Parsons, I think, the whole match. Wow. Martin is not happy with that one, as you can tell from the sound of his voice.
5:30.
Araya does such a great job handling the spin. It almost seems like the guys who generate the most spin are the best at dealing with it too.
That is an interesting observation. Well, yes, he never seems troubled by it.
Great read from Parsons. Oh, boy, he's just doing anything he wants right now.
15:40.
2 points for 5-1. Parsons misses it wide.
30-40.
A little too fine. This is certainly a baby match point, Lauren. Oh, oh, that was a great serve from Broderick.
Yeah.
Back of the line with a lot of pace, and he never had a chance at the next ball. It came at him so fast he was barely finishing his swing.
And that's the problem with the pace, right? That's why sometimes the men choose not to serve hard, because it can come back at you faster than you hit it.
And that's how they won their points in the backcourt with lead courts. And if that's your strategy,
Love 15.
find the new strategy.
It's a tough way to make a living.
$15 all.
Feel the court being squozen on Bostrom Broderick. They're trying to hit the ball a little harder, a little better spots.
Squozen?
Squozen, is that a word, Lauren?
Nope, but I like it.
Squozen. They feel him squeezing the court on them.
Yeah.
You can see just Araya's got him on their heels. Oh, what a half volley. Oh! Oh! I mean, Parsons is backing up behind the service line, hits the ball 1 mile an hour, but somehow goes between the two of them perfectly for a winner. That's the story of the match right there.
Yeah, I mean, Bostrom and Broderick actually got in good position at that point. That they should have won that point, but the guys they're playing are just on fire.
Araya with another great drop shot. Now they come back, just dumping the ball softly to Broderick's backhand. Araya's just created an amazing amount of movement with his overheads today. Durant Mitchell are through, 6-4, 6-2. Waiting the winner of this match.
It's hard to imagine that match was faster than this one.
Well, Drew Broderick was a little late to the court too, so. Oh, Araya. Broderick had a short overhead and Araya closed off the net and made the volley.
I was worried for him that he was going to get hurt. Instead, he made a great shot.
Wow, Broderick's talking about being off balance. That takes us to double match point, Lauren.
45.
This has been a serious beatdown. Great ball there from Bostrom.
Yeah, I've seen too few of those today.
40,
Match
30.
point number 2. And there it is. Game, set, match. Araya Parsons 6-1, 6-1. Lauren, that was quite the exhibition.
I'm a little speechless. I mean, that was really, not fun to play for Broderick and Parsons, but fun to see. I mean, for Broderick and Bostrom, but fun to watch. I mean, the display that Araya and Parsons put on was really incredible.
Wow. We're going to try and get a quick interview with our winners, but first I want to thank one of our national sponsors. Fusion Sports is your source for high-end custom apparel. Fusion offers pro shop management, tournament favors, corporate branded gear, and youth sports, as well as top-notch service from Dana Parsons. Fusion is the official apparel and favor supplier of the American Platform Tennis Association. Lauren, I have to admit, I'm a little bit in a state of shock.
Mm-hmm. It's, you know, those first 3 games were close. There were a couple of no-ad points to decide the games, and it seemed like it could be close, but it was just all Araya Parsons. They had no answers, Broderick and Bostrom, no answers.
That was an astonishing display. Their level was just off the charts. Even when it started to shift a little bit, early second set, 1-love, 1-all, they just, there were no answers.
Well, what do you think? The next match will be quite a show as well. It'll be interesting to see if Durant and Mitchell have the answers.
Yeah, the last time these two teams met was in Philadelphia, right before the 2020 Nationals, a win for Araya Parsons, and I don't think they've played since then. Durant and Mitchell had won the previous couple matches, including at Western New England's last year. Okay, so the players are in the hut. We're getting them mic'd up. I'm sure Araya's talking to somebody because he's always talking to somebody. And pretty soon, hopefully, he'll be talking to us. You can see that Broderick Bostrom are talking to Lepavere-Persenko about keeping it going and playing again. And maybe we'll be able to give you a sneak peek at that match before our semifinal match.
Yeah, that'll be a quarterfinal consolation match.
Lauren and I are doing the match from our homes. And again, I want, huge kudos for Jerry Vian for pulling this off, because this remote commentating is hard. I know Lauren Mandel's had the technology down completely. She's had no problems at all. Myself, personally, I've had a couple, but Lauren's has been smooth sailing. And Lauren Mandel is much prettier than Mark Guinness, I have to say.
I'm laughing. He has a much better accent, though.
Okay, so we're getting our players mic'd up. And I think the semis are scheduled for 2:30 today. With, as I said earlier, a sneak preview on the quarterback. So that should be a fun match. Bostrom, Broderick, and Lepavere-Persenko. Those are two fun teams. The other half of the draw, it sure seemed like it was going to be a rematch of Long Island with Burris, Doya, Hughes, Powers. And Borussia just haven't quite been able to break through. Okay, here we go. Our
Here we go.
semifinalists. I think that's Mark Parsons on the left, but yes, I got thumbs up and want some sand away. Guys, that was an astonishing display of paddle. Wow.
Yeah, feels good to be back to a good level. We haven't been playing that well, but today it was fun. In the first match, it was a very good match we had, and we were playing some points that we were going to permanent eye and things that we did in the past that we weren't even discussing during the point. It was just flowing. So it's one of those days that things are happening, and I think we were talking about after this match that we just played that must be our second best match we ever played together. The first being the finals of nationals when we won it.
Finals of nationals.
But feels good. Feels good.
So the first set, Mark hits every single return through, and you guys take over the net. And then between sets, you were talking to him, Juan. Were you saying, do more of that? Did you have some helpful advice beyond that?
No, I said, keep doing that, which is pretty much the same words, but in Argentinian.
And obviously, you guys, the game plan coming in was to dump a lot of balls to the Broderick backhand and really challenge him there. And you hit virtually every overhead of choice to that spot.
Yeah, I think we played smart, and we talked about it. Actually, we didn't even talk strategy before we went on the court. We did the warm up on the wrong sides, which we didn't even realize.
Noticed that.
So we switched once Juan figured it out, and otherwise we might have played the match like that. And then we had a quick discussion, and I think we learned a lot when we played them in Long Island, and. I would have loved to have played a full third set in Long Island and had that decide the match instead of a match tiebreak. But it is what it is, and we learned a lot. And I think we we played smart, and we used to our advantage what we learned in Long Island.
Okay. Any thoughts on the semifinals?
Well, we played them 2 years ago like 5 times, and we won all 5. Then last year we played them 3 times, or 4 times. No, 3 times, and we lost 2. We won 1 in the final of Philly that Mark played unbelievable. In fact, after the quarters that we had, after the semis that we had long semis, Mark said, "I'm beat. I'm so tired. I don't think I can play the final." And then he goes to CVS. I don't know what he bought. I really don't know what and I don't know. Even if I knew, I wouldn't say it. And he came back and he was like the energizing bunny. I mean, he played unbelievable. So I think we have to play our A+ game to beat these guys. That's why they are the national champions. They're amazing. I mean, Johan has been at the top of the game for a really long time, and Steve is playing pretty well. So I think we have to play great. I mean, if we play the same way we play now, of course, it's a different strategy against them, because we can't dump the ball to Johan's forehand, otherwise we're going straight to the hospital. But I think it's a different strategy. But we play them. We match up well against them. We had really good matches, and we love playing at that speed. So and they love playing at our speed as well. So I think it's always a good match, regardless of the score. So I think it's going to be a fun match. I think
Well, you seem to be in a better place mentally than when you played him at Darien, which was not a fun match. So I'm looking forward to a fast match.
It's true about that. But honestly, I haven't played much before Darien. It was, I mean, for all of us, all professionals, it was a very busy summer. Everybody was around. We were working super hard, and it was impossible to practice for any of us. I know some guys were lucky to practice. I just wasn't there mentally to practice. I was mentally exhausted, and just didn't want to practice. And it was very hard. I don't know. We got to the final, honestly, because we were lucky, because we didn't deserve it. We didn't play that well, but we got there.
You almost lost in the quarters, right?
We had a couple of match points, yeah, and then we won in the semis because Philip Rams got injured, but we were set down and then 3-0 up, but he got injured. But we weren't playing that well. I think that this is a different story where I can tell for myself that I wanna spend time on the court now. I don't mind if it takes 5 hours now, so I'm good.
Mark, do you want to say anything now that Juan has finally stopped talking, or are you good?
It's always the case. I'm the talker. He's the executor.
He speaks for both of us.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. We're looking forward to watching your semifinal match.
Thanks,
Guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Juan Araya, never at a loss for words. Okay, we're going to be back with our semis, and I think we're going to keep the cameras on for the quarter back draw, and we'll be showing it without commentary. But I'm waiting for confirmation on that from Jerry Vian. So we'll have something up on the banner. So the quarterfinals, they are playing now. We're going to stream it with a banner, and we'll see everybody back for the semis later this afternoon. Lauren, always a pleasure.
Thanks, Mark.
From this website, we really want to make learning easy. We know that paddle can be a lot. When you're out there, you're thinking of hitting the ball, you're thinking of the screens, you're thinking of your technique. There's a lot of things going on. So we want to break things up into bite-sized pieces that make it easy for you to digest, easy for you to learn, and then easy for you to implement in your game. That is our goal.
I'm Johan Durant, and this is my paddle.